Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Conquer with Chris, the podcast you don't want to miss. I have a very wonderful guest today, Terry Begue. Terry, welcome to the show.
Hey, Chris, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me aboard.
It's all my pleasure. Listen, Terry, let the people know where you're from and kind of a little bit what you do.
Okay, my name's Terry Begue. Like we said, it's funny spelling Begue, so it's kind of a silent UE in there. But I'm from Hartville, Ohio, and that's a little town that's right in between Akron and Canton. Canton, of course, is the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I own a painting business, and I actually started it when I was 18 years old, right out of high school. And it's been 43 years now, and I still love what I do, still have my painting business. I still wash the paint off right before I do a podcast most days. And but I've created a book about a year and a half ago. It took me about 6 years to develop it, and I'm starting to promote that now. And it's all about the things that I learned with starting a small business and things that will cut years off the learning curve for people who want to start a small business.
And Terry, if you don't mind, I have a
Mhm.
very serious question to ask. And this
Okay.
is, I don't want to throw you for a loop, but have you ever painted yourself into a corner?
In a way I have. When there's a few decks that we would stain, we get so caught up, there'd be two or three of us brushing really fast and all just backing up and going back and forth. And that actually has happened to us. And there's a way you can step over it and just sort of brush your way back out. So yes, that has happened to me.
I just thought you were going to say, yeah, when I decide to do this podcast. Anywho, so Terry, tell me a little bit about how you went through the years. You started a business, I guess you said at 18, and
Yeah.
grew it. So let's talk about some of the challenges of starting your own business. 18, that has to be really
Wow.
tough because you weren't connected probably.
No.
You couldn't say, well, this is my daddy's business, so
Yep.
I have his clientele. So
Yep.
how do you start your business and how did it go?
Oh my gosh. It was, looking back, it was probably crazy to try and start. I should have took a job with a painter, learn the ropes first. But, if you're an entrepreneur and you know what I'm talking about, it's hard to work for somebody. And I had a lot of jobs through high school. I never got fired, but I just never stuck around very long. And it took me the longest time to figure out that even my worst day working for myself was still better than my best day working for somebody.
Now
So,
there's a quote. Say that again.
yep, I say that in my book. In the
Say that
in the
again for the
intro.
people.
My worst day working for myself self was still 100 times better than my best day working for somebody else.
Wow, that's tremendous.
So I one-upped it there with 100 times. I forgot that's what my quote is in the book. But starting when I was 18, and people told me I looked like I was 14, and I'm sure that's why I struggled really, really bad. But it was okay. I was living at home for those first couple of years, and I was getting going a little bit, but people could tell I didn't know what I was doing. One of the first bids I ever gave, I can still remember the guy comes to the door, and I just say, "Hi, I'm Terry Begue. I'm here for the painting estimate." And he just looks down at me with his arms crossed. He goes, if I hire you, who would show up to do the work, you or your dad? I thought, oh man, that just deflated me right there on the spot. He said what everyone else was thinking, but it didn't really get tough until another thing I did that maybe in hindsight, I should have waited a little. Is I got married when I was 21. My wife was just 19. And within a few months, we were broke because my business was so horrible, for lack of a better word. Nobody trusted me. And I really paid my dues for 6 or 7 years. And it wasn't until I was 29 years old that everything changed for me. And the changing point, it's easy for me to tell. It was just three simple little words my wife said to me, and it changed everything in my life. And they weren't, "I love you." They were, "Terry, I'm pregnant." And that and that was it. There was something about it, flipped a switch in my mind, and everything changed. All of a sudden, this ridiculous business that I was playing around with had to get serious. And I figured out ways to sell jobs. I started talking to other painters. And once the internet was available, see, back then there was no internet. So you couldn't really get tips from other painters because you were the competition, in the area. So I would call long distance and talk to other painters from other parts of the country, because I had to figure it out. And I'd spend the winter season selling furniture, selling vacuum cleaners, cars. And finally, I figured out that the successful painters do one thing different than everyone else. And it boiled down to they have their customer pipeline full. They have so much work, they could just pick and choose the best jobs. And once I figured that all out, I started turning things around. I did a lot of things that are all in my book. I joined a professional organization. I started getting into home and garden shows. And by the time my son was born, just 8 months later, I had doubled my income 2 times over. And
Wow.
yeah, and everything changed for me. Once that happened, I was able to hire some guys the next year, and this is just in 8 months because I just do outside painting in the summertime. And in Ohio, we got about 8 months. The next year, I put on a crew and I double my income again. And it's been great ever since then. Every year it gets better.
I want to go back for a second. You said
Mhm.
that no one knew you. On the internet, we have this thing that we call the know, like, and trust factor. They got to get to know you, so they get to like you, and then once they like you, they begin to trust you.
Yep.
So that was an obstacle you had to overcome even back then.
Oh my gosh. And really one of the things I did is instead of hiding that I was young and they could see my old rusted up beater in the driveway with the little pipes that held used ladders on it. And instead of covering up, I finally would just start to say to them, I said, I know I look young and I am young and but I know what I'm doing. And if you'll trust me to paint your house, I'll bust my butt for you. I won't turn a bill in until you tell me you're happy. And people started to hire me. And it was just I had to stop thinking of my customers as like the enemy. Like if they didn't hire me, they won. If they did hire me, I won. It was never about that. I need to treat my customers like my friends and just be fully transparent. And that was the difference. And treating them like my friends.
I see something else there. I see that you started to create value versus you needed something from them. You started to create value. Look, I'm young. I have more energy. I can get more done in less time. I have a crew too, and I know how to manage them because this is my business. You have my word. I'm not going to give you a bill till you're satisfied. That is to me that's a value you created. So like in the internet business, things like they call value ladders. Try to
Hmm.
get people to go up the value. Um, so there's that. People need to feel like they're getting more than what they're giving back, right?
Hmm.
Um, and if you get enough value out, then people give you whatever you want.
Right, right.
You were creating a value suction, so to speak.
Yeah, a value statement. I would point at my truck and I'd say, "Yeah, I know it looks ridiculous, but it's not leaking oil in your driveway, I promise." But I tell them because of that, I said, "I have no overhead. I know I'll be cheaper than the other painters who come out here with nice trucks." So I tried to just turn all those little things around, and it did. People gave me a chance. And then you mentioned testimonials when we talked a little earlier. That is huge. I devoted an entire chapter to that in my book. It is so important to use other people's words.
Well, I mean, not only that, but see, people want to see people that don't look or aren't the same age as you, or are younger than you, or older than you, or different skin tone, different ancestral background. They
Hmm.
want to see someone different. They want to see someone who talks different, someone who emotes different than you,
Hmm.
or more importantly, emotes more like them, right? So,
Hmm.
um, or someone they feel like for example, you're a painter. If you give a testimony for someone, they're gonna if they're a painter, they're gonna trust you. Or maybe if even if they're in a construction field, they're gonna
Mhm.
trust you more than somebody who's in um, cars or
Yeah.
car repair, right? So
Mhm.
the thing is like all that's important
Mhm.
because it aligns. And so
Yep.
you got your business going. Your son was born.
Yeah.
What happens
And
next?
oh my gosh, 3 months later, my wife was pregnant again. So I said, "But
Wait a second, hold on a
with
second.
it."
I know your painting business wasn't that good because you had too much time to be at home.
What was what was weird, Chris, is we were married 8 years before that ever happened. So I think it was a sign from God. I really believe it was divine intervention.
He said, you're getting ready to be able to afford this. So here you
Because
go.
every time I had another child, I realized I got to up my game more. And as I created more value, just like what you're saying, I started slowly raising my prices. And my business has gotten to the point now where I haven't advertised since 2012, and my business still grows every year. Now we paint over 100 houses every summer.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just a small crew. We're lean and mean.
Hey, look that but you know what that let's discuss that for a minute because
Hmm.
most people think they want like 10, 15, 20 crews
Oh,
going
geez.
all over the state, but there's a problem with that. That means you have to have someone who can oversee each crew. You have to
Hmm.
pay them more money than the rest of the crew.
Oh, the
You have to
headaches.
be in some kind of communication, whether it be email, text message, Facebook Messenger, some kind of like Monday or something that's
Hmm.
controlling all the jobs. And God forbid that, it happens, but, people travel on the road, someone's getting in an accident, can't make it to the job. So then you have to get another crew from another place to go cover that job.
Oh.
And then, the insurance on all these people. So knowing what your parameters are, right? It's called a metron. It's a Greek word, metron. Knowing what your metron is, knowing how far you want to take it, right?
Hmm.
But you're happy with
Yeah.
100 houses a
Well,
summer,
you know,
8 months.
right. Yes. And I've seen million-dollar companies. There's one here in the Canton area that I know real well. And I know the guy that owns that company, and he doesn't make what I make because he has so much overhead. He's got union guys. He's paying his guys, oh my gosh, $35, $40 an hour. I'm not saying they're not worth it, but my guys aren't union and we work hard. I'm right there. So I cut out some of the labor, and the owners love it that they see me there. One year I did run two crews, and by the end of that summer, I thought it just wasn't worth it. And it still made less than. So what I found is it isn't so much about your gross profit. It's all about what you take home, the net, and I get the highest net possible with four guys working 8 months out of the year.
And of course, then on the top of that is not just the net profit, but the fulfillment. Because you have another guy in there, and you're always dealing with his bad attitude, or even
Hmm.
his good attitude, and he's trying to like, okay, well, Terry, if you don't give me another raise, I'm out the door next year, or whatever the case may be. Always trying to
Hmm.
play, I need to make 30, 40 an hour, just like the other guys. So you don't have to deal with that. That's a lot less headache, a lot less stress,
Yeah.
because you have your people, you go and do the work, everyone makes
Mhm.
good money for the 8 months, and then you're
Right.
off for 4 months, right?
Yep. And they love that. I keep working through the winter just because I'm like that. But I pay into unemployment so they can collect if they want. But usually I call them back because we'll pick up a big job or two through the winter. So, but they like that. That's kind of a little bonus. And I did that to start keeping them with me. I incorporated my business, so I'm actually an employee of my own business. And I could collect unemployment, but I just wouldn't feel right about doing that. You know, I'd rather
So
be working.
you may every time you had a child, your business increased. I would say probably doubled every time you had a child.
Because it
And
had to. You know,
so I'm taking the kids are all grown now.
they are. My son now is he has a law degree. He works for PayPal though, but his law degree does give him a better job. My daughter's a teacher, an intervention specialist right here in the town where I live. So I've just become a grandfather about 18 months ago, and now I have three grandkids. So that's starting. Now I got more grandkids than children, and it's I never understood the big deal about grandkids till I had some. Really changes how you look at things.
I understand. I didn't understand the fascination with children. I got married, and the day I got married,
Uh,
well, shortly before I got married, I found out that I was be a grandfather because I was engaged,
oh
and
man.
the woman I married had children already, and they were grown.
Hmm.
So I found out that I was gonna be a grandfather when I was engaged to get married.
Uh-huh.
So I skipped the kids, man.
Oh my gosh. Went right to the grandkids. That's
So so do you do a lot of consulting with other business owners, helping them find their value and their value proposition and their fulfillment in whatever it is they do?
I have a little bit. I'm starting to really lean that way more. So every year I'm going to start backing away from my business a little bit. I'm 62, so I still love what I do, but I'm going to do it a little less and go more into consulting and coaching. And that's why I'm creating an online course, because people read the book and it gets them inspired. They love. I mean, I've gotten really good reviews by it, but it really doesn't take them by the hand and walk them through what it takes to own a successful business. And that's what the course is going to be all about.
Well, that's
The
great.
thing.
That's great. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to hearing more about that and more from you.
Mhm.
Do you have a favorite quote?
A favorite quote. I do, and it's right here on my desk, and I can't see it right now. But I used to say it to myself every morning, and I know it. I know it like the back of my hand. I just can never find who wrote it. And if you find out, I would love to find out. So if you're ready, here it comes. Believe in yourself and in your plan. Say not I cannot, but I can. The prize in life we fail to win because we doubt the power within. So
Wow.
it's kind of a poem, but yeah.
Sounds like Dr. Seuss. No, I'm just kidding.
That did remind me of, if I can, Dr. Robert Schuller. He said extraordinary people are just ordinary people with an incredible amount of determination. That I used to say to myself every morning, because that was what I knew I needed was, if you're determined, you'll make it work no matter what you got going on, as long as you stay focused and keep that determination going.
Well, Terry, how can people find you?
Terrybegue.com is my website, and on there I put a lot of blogs on there. There's a freebie on there, 7 ways to attract new customers without spending a dime on advertising. So that's really helpful. So that's free on there. Also, they could go to Amazon and get my book if they like. Just put in, it's called Attract and Keep Customers for Life. And it's about exactly what we were talking about, Chris. The subtitle even explains it better. 4 abilities to build trust, communicate your value, and charge what you're worth. And
Wow.
so that,
I like that. I like that. Yes,
so
sir. Yes,
the
sir.
subtitle explains it better.
Yeah, that's great. So is there anything you want to leave the people before we get off the podcast?
I want to leave them with, if you're on the fence as far as maybe quitting your job and starting a business, or you got that entrepreneurial spirit, go for it. I'm telling you, just do what you can while you can do it, and then just get better every day. Stay focused, get comfortable with having conversations with customers. I joined Toastmasters about 12 years ago because someone made me do it, or they wouldn't help me write a book. But I found it made all the difference in the world for me. Being a Toastmaster gets you comfortable with talking to people and being able to share my lessons with you right now. That's a huge thing I would do. Join Toastmasters.
And then the other thing I would tell people to do is well, Toastmasters is a great way. Or if you're a church going person, see if they have a ministerial education program at the church where they teach you how the ministers operate and communicate publicly. Because greater than spiders, greater than snakes, greater than getting eaten by a lion or killed by a car or an airplane crashing is the fear of public speaking. If you can overcome that fear, it makes your life a lot easier. Trust me, I'm the guy who I think I could probably get onto stage of 10,000 people in present, not currently because of the situation we're in, but in normal circumstances, I don't think 10,000, 20,000 people would bother me. I could get on the stage and communicate effectively to them. I think communication, public speaking is a great way to tell stories. Get people interested in different topics, and tell people what you're about. So I want to thank my guest Terry Begue for being on. Thank you so much, Terry.
Yeah, I had a great time, Chris. I could have talked to you for another hour. It's just, you're so easy to talk with, and I really enjoyed myself here. I'd love to come back again sometime. And
we'll have you back. I promise you that.
Wonderful. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, please like, subscribe, share, download, depending on what platform you're on. If you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe and notification bell. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Don't go anywhere, Terry. We're not done.
Okay.
This is the part I told you after the podcast. Hi, thanks for watching today. My name's Chris Collier. I'm the host of the Conquer with Chris podcast. I just had Terry Begue on. Man, he is so big on creating value, right? He was so great and so knowledgeable. I love the statesmanship of the sales person that he is. He's a salesperson, but not salesy. And I love that because he communicates it in such a way where people I want to go buy his book. I want to buy his course, and it's not even released yet, right? So I think he's very good. I think you should check his stuff out, terrybegue.com. It should be, he'll probably put it in here after I give him this video. And he's such a great guy. I think more people like this should be out there, quality, value. And I just want to thank him for being on my podcast. There you go. That's going to be yours when I.
Awesome. Now, do I do one for you right now?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, geez, I'm not ready for this, but I'll do my best. Are we good? Hey, it's Terry Begue here. My company is Begue Painting. I wrote the book, Attract and Keep Customers for Life. I just got off of my podcast with Chris Collier, and I had a great time. What a wonderful person to just have a conversation with. He was so on point with everything that I was saying. It was so easy to talk with him because we both understand the importance of giving value first. And I see that in him. I love his podcast. And if you get a chance to listen to his podcast, do it, find him, look him up wherever he's at, his YouTube channel, and just become part of the podcast community because he has a lot to share. Thank you so much.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that
Hey,
wasn't good.
no, that was great. That was great. I can edit it. Don't worry. It's not a big deal. Look, I'm going to say this, Terry. When you get your course out, when you get it ready and you're beta testing it, let me run through it. Then I'll give you video testimonial. I'll give you video testimonial of how it helped me in my business.
Outstanding. Oh, that would be perfect. Beta test. Yeah, we're going to be doing that in we're about maybe a month or two away, about 6 weeks.
Hey, I'm your guy. I'm your guy.
Perfect.
And if you're doing coaching and not just coursework, because let me explain something to you, Terry. I don't know if the person who's helping you with this explained it to you. You got your book, right? That's $10, $15, $20, $30, wherever that's at on Amazon. You have your course, huh?
It's cheap. It's like the online or the ebook is like $3.99.
Well, okay, it's $3.99. But watch this. Your course, which is your coaching that you break down and just leave on the net, should be roughly about somewhere between $750 and $975.
Wow.
For a person. You may start at $450, $475. Then, but the coaching should be $24.97 because it's your time, your energy. You're just giving people the videos. If they can't afford the coaching, you give them the videos in the coursework. And they may have 1 or 2 onboarding and offboarding calls with you.
Yep.
But that's how you design that, not only to make money, but this is one of the things I realized in my whole life is, the old saying, you get what you pay for. And one of the things we've skimped on is your life is important. The time you spent gaining these principles, I don't have to spend 57 years to learn. I'm 48. I don't want to spend that time learning. I've already spent enough time learning stuff I don't need to do. I need to know what to do and quickly because I have goals. Like my goal is to get into a RV and travel the United States and do the podcast with me traveling, have a travel vlog, but also have me doing this all day. Oh
my gosh.
Because that's taking it to a whole nother level, and then be able to do it live. Sometimes I'll go live and do it with people. Sometimes I'll do it through Zoom like this. It's all good either way. But I like this. Because I feel like I'm giving people value by letting them see your life, let them see your story, and creating that value. Because then I'm not only creating value for them, but then if they see something in you and they buy your book, they buy your course, they get your coaching, and I don't have to make money off of it. Really, I even if I referred people and I didn't make money, I wouldn't care because I'm creating value. If you give enough people what they want in life, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah, right.
Zig Ziglar.
I was going to say, who said that? I was going to say Andrew Carnegie, wrong guy.
But
friends.
Yeah, you get that course ready. I'll run through it with you. And if you want me to run through it even before beta, I'll be glad to do that to help you because you're going to have to do something to sell it.
Yeah.
You can't just put it out there and think if I build it, they'll come.
Right. Well, we're doing a lot with Facebook and Instagram and things like that. I have a virtual assistant because I'm not good at that stuff, Chris. So I have someone that's helping me with all that stuff.
Well, I can get you, if you can do a Zoom, you can do a webinar. And all you have to do is talk for about 45 minutes about what you're going to, all the value you're going to give them. And then at the end of 45 minutes, you say, if you stick to the end, I'll give you this free 30-minute coaching session if you book it, right? If you buy today, I'll give you make it an hour, and then you just drop your price, and people buy or don't buy, and that's how you do the webinar.
Yeah, I never thought of webinars. That's a good idea.
Webinar is a great way because what it does is the time, first off, when people get on a webinar, they lose track of time.
Mm-hmm.
One of the wears down sales resistance. The time wears down sales resistance. It's an appointment they want to keep. It's like going to church, going to a doctor's appointment. They forget about anything else going on because their phone, you ask them to turn their phone off, turn social media off. They're focused on what they're doing. So that being said is now that whole hour, and what you do is you tell them 2 hours or an hour and a half, and you only do 45 minutes to an hour. So that way, because people get anxious when it gets closer to that time, that way you can, one, break the mentality, and two, is you've taken up enough time where you've built in value and you've already overcome the know, like, and trust factors that they don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So
Great.
in an
I
hour,
like
they
it.
get to know you.
I like it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go there. I'll be mentioning it every Wednesday. I talk to my VA. She's in New Zealand.
I had a VA in Philippines for a while. She was building me a Facebook group, but I'm switching. I'm switching now to I need someone who can do video editing and audio editing
Okay.
because I need 2-minute clips. I need 7-minute clips. I need different things.
Wow. It's inspiring to see what you're doing.
Oh,
It
I
really
appreciate
is.
it.
Yeah.
And once I get this machine rolling, when I do
Yeah.
get a crew, this will be all I'll probably have this, because I already talked to my wife. I said, when this thing gets rolling, I'm either going to build an office, when we get our house, or um, have a he shed in the back, because I want it kind of separate. Because there is something, and you can probably understand this. If you have an office away
Mhm.
from the house, it's a different mindset when you go into that office, right? If you at home and you have a home office, you still wear your socks and underwear, But when I get dressed up, I'll tell you a little simple thing. It's like even the stool. I'm sitting on a stool versus sitting in a chair because I give more energy out.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'd be interviewing people and I'd be falling asleep because I work 60 hours a week. I'm tired. So
Jeez.
you got to understand what you need to do to create the environment you want to create.
Mhm.
And what
Makes
you
sense.
said is earlier, the poem you read, whatever you believe is inside.
Believe in
So you
yourself.
just got to
Yeah.
start finding out what's inside and working with it and growing it. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just following in your footsteps in a way, just
Yeah.
a different path.
Yeah. I love what you're doing. And I know I'm kind of changing over now, but it's going to be a slow transition. I still like painting,
Oh
but
no, take your
yeah.
time. Take your time
Yeah.
with painting. Paint all you want.
Yeah.
But I would say this
Yeah.
is sometimes God shows us a new way, and maybe you can find somebody who's been faithful on the paint crew and be like, hey, listen, I'm going to will you this, or I'm going to have you take over this business. It's going to take several years for you to take it over,
Mhm.
and you're going to have to buy it from me. It's and by working with me, and I'm going to show you all the ropes of how to own this thing.
Mhm.
And when I step away, maybe for 3-4 years, they have to still pay you, or partial payments, or however you work that. It's your business, but that's a good way to pass it forward, pay it forward, right?
Mhm.
So, and then on top of that, as you're coming into a whole new scene, and as you're making more money, that won't mean it.
Right.
It won't mean as much. You'll be thankful for that opportunity, but pivoting is so key, so key.
Yeah. Really.
And you're doing a great job. I just want to tell you, you have a great voice. Like if you just went straight audio podcasting and didn't do any video,
Uh-huh.
that'd be great. But the
Huh.
audio, you have a good voice for audio.
I would like to do it too, but I'm just so busy. I can't find the time. I love being a guest though. So that's why I'm so grateful for you giving me that testimonial.
Oh
I was,
man, please be.
I,
But I'll tell you
I was
what I do is like I told you. Did I tell you what my Wednesday's like?
no, you did. Oh my God. Yeah. You're doing what? 10?
I think 15.
I don't see
12.
how do you edit them all?
Well, the
Oh my
good thing is I
God.
don't have to edit them all at once. Zoom does a great job of recording them. So I
Hmm.
just have Zoom record them. I download them to my computer. I put them I make them each a file by the name, not by the date. And we go through and I go through and edit them. I bought a piece of software called Camtasia. It's very easy to use. But see, if you're just doing audio, this is what I would do if I were you. I would just take this whole thing, get you a VA,
Hmm.
upload it to Facebook, right? I mean, not Facebook, upload it to YouTube,
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
have them upload it because they give them access to your Zoom, have them upload it, have them
Mhm.
edit it. And then what you do is you can get this program called Clip Grab. easy program, and you can pick any video that's on YouTube. CLIPGRAB, clip grab.
Okay. Okay.
And you grab the video from YouTube and you can download it as an MP4, MP3. No
Okay.
video, just audio only. And you
Mhm.
just upload that to your podcast hosting site.
Huh. No kidding.
And that's all I do, because my first place to take these is the YouTube. And then, because like the best time to drop a podcast, watch this. This is going to sound funny. What's the best time? Do you know the best time to drop a podcast?
No.
2 a.m. Tuesday.
When?
2 a.m. Wednesday morning. Like, so Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, 2 a.m. Don't know why, but guess what? I'm gonna upload it. I have my first one for season 2. I'm uploading tomorrow night, and it will go live Tuesday or Wednesday morning, 2 a.m.
Oh my gosh. And you actually got to do that manually at 2 a.m.?
No, I will upload it tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it'll go live at 2 a.m.
Oh my
But the
gosh.
YouTube video will be up tomorrow early, tomorrow after evening early, like 10 or 11. And I'm going to do a live premiere, and then I'm going to just upload it naturally.
Okay. Where are you from, Chris?
Originally, I was north of you. Now I'm south of you. I was in the other state where the other school is. The blue and gold, the blue and maize.
Oh, you're on the Eastern time zone though, right?
I'm in Atlanta now, so yes, I am on Eastern.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure where you were. I was talking to someone the other day and I couldn't figure out why we were so far off. He was in Zaire. Think, oh my gosh, doing a podcast. I could hardly understand the guy. It was so hard.
Yeah, I've several friends. I have a guy from Ghana. It's a good friend of mine, and another one from Nigeria. They're both, unless you've been around them a while, it's like, oh my gosh.
That's when I started wearing headphones because I couldn't catch half of what he was saying. I was really having a hard time.
Well, one of the things I learned from being in Michigan is we try to pronounce our words and really be formal in our diction so people can understand us. But the problem is I talk fast.
Me too. I know.
It's
It's a
another
hard.
Midwestern thing.
I always get evaluated from toes. They always say, you got to slow down. You're talking too fast. I hear that all the time.
Well, you know what though? For podcasting, you have a good flow. You have a good voice. When you start doing your course and making money from your course, you should probably consider doing a podcast to help you, one, market, and two, just it'll give you another way to market.